The saga begins with the arrival of Goku, Yamcha, Krillin, Puar, and Upa at Fortuneteller Baba's palace, with the goal of asking her where the last Dragon Ball is located. However, in order for her to reveal its location, they must first defeat 5 of her fighters. Because of this, the first one to step into battle is Krillin. He still maintains the same power level he showed in the previous saga, which I estimate to be around 55 power units. At that moment, the first of Baba's fighters appears, Dracula Man. He demonstrates a respectable level of strength, so I estimate his power level to be around 15 power units. The winner of the fight ends up being Dracula Man, because despite being weaker overall, he manages to drink Krillin's blood, which weakens him significantly. As a result, Krillin ultimately loses the match. The next fight happens when Puar and Upa decide to face Dracula Man together. Since the Pilaf saga, I have estimated Puar's power level to be around 2.2 power units, while Upa is closer to 3 power units, as he was still a very young and timid child who never showed much combat strength. Even though both of them are weaker, they manage to exploit Dracula Man's weaknesses, and thanks to that strategy, they ultimately succeed in defeating him. Now it's Yamcha's turn, as he faces Invisible Man. I estimate that Yamcha became a bit stronger after his participation in the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, so I now place his power level at around 20 power units. On the other hand, Invisible Man has an estimated 18 power units. This is because Fortuneteller Baba confirms that every fighter after Dracula Man is stronger than him, which implies that his power level should be higher than that first opponent. However, since Yamcha still has a slight advantage in power, he eventually manages to overpower Invisible Man and wins the fight. As for Master Roshi's power, he maintains the same level he demonstrated during the Red Ribbon Army Saga, which I estimate to be around 82 power units. On the other hand, I estimate that Fortuneteller Baba has about 2.5 power units, since she is a very elderly woman with virtually no combat abilities. However, she makes up for this with powerful magical abilities, such as her power to tell fortunes, see the future, and maintain a connection with the other world. After this, Yamcha and the others move to the Devil's Toilet to watch the next battle. The next fighter is the Mummy, an opponent who turns out to be extremely powerful. For this reason, I estimate his power level to be around 90 power units. Because of this massive difference in power, the Mummy easily overwhelms Yamcha during the fight. Yamcha attempts to use his Wolf Fang Fist, temporarily increasing his power to about 21 units. However, the Mummy is still far superior, and after delivering a complete beating to Yamcha, he ultimately wins the match. Now it's Goku's turn, and he maintains the same power level he demonstrated in the previous saga, which I estimate to be around 125 power units. Because of this overwhelming strength, Goku defeats the Mummy with a single punch, instantly winning the match. However, the next fight begins almost immediately afterward. At that moment, the next fighter appears, Devilman. This opponent turns out to be even stronger than the Mummy, so I estimate his power level to be around 95 power units. Even so, Goku's power is still far higher, and with a single kick he manages to defeat Devilman, winning the fight as well. After this, the final battle begins between Goku and Grandpa Gohan. I estimate that Grandpa Gohan has a very high power level of around 115 power units. This estimate is based on several factors. First, it's clear that he is stronger than Devilman, and if we analyze the fight, we can see that he is able to give Goku a fairly even battle. This makes a lot of sense if we remember that Mercenary Tao had around 110 power units, and even then he barely managed to land a single hit on Goku. Therefore, it becomes quite clear that Grandpa Gohan was stronger than him, which strongly supports the estimate of 115 power units. Later on, Grandpa Gohan decides to use the Kamehameha, a technique that multiplies his fighting power by 2.2, allowing him to reach approximately 253 power units. However, Goku manages to dodge the attack and immediately responds with the same technique, also multiplying his power by 2.2, which allows him to reach approximately 275 power units. In the end, Grandpa Gohan surrenders, reveals his true identity, and later returns to the other world. Since Goku won all the matches, Fortuneteller Baba finally tells him that the last Dragon Ball is in the possession of the Pilaf gang. As we already know, the members of the Pilaf gang are quite weak in terms of fighting power. Emperor Pilaf has approximately 3 power units, Shu has around 6 units, and finally Mai has about 5 power units. However, this time they do not fight Goku directly, and instead use combat robots to battle him. I estimate that Pilaf's robot has about 25 power units, while Shu's and Mai's robots also have approximately 25 power units each. On the other hand, as we already know, Goku has a total power of 125 units, giving him a massive advantage in power. Faced with this situation, the three villains decide to use their special strategy called the Mega Machine Fusion, in which their 3 robots combine into a single machine. By doing this, their powers add together, allowing the new robot to reach approximately the 75 power units. Even so, Goku is still far stronger, and he ultimately defeats them without much difficulty. In the end, Goku gathers the 7 Dragon Balls and uses them to bring Bora back to life. After this, Goku returns to his friends, and they all agree to train for the next 3 years before meeting again at the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, bringing this saga to an end. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming videos. A big hug to all of you.